So now we're going to put the clutch cover on. Here's the new gasket from Honda. The part number is right here. And the first thing we're going to do is get the brake pedal out of the way. And then going to degrease the surface that the gasket is going to sit on. Just in case, one more time. I cleaned this before, but you never know. And now let's see which way the gasket is going to go. And whether or not it's the correct one. That looks good. Okay, so it's going to go on like this. Let's set the gasket here for now. I'm going to install a couple of little, since there are no dowels here, a couple of these little cut-off screws with slots. Should help us install the gasket and the cover. Okay, so the gasket can be installed dry. You can use Hylamar, gasket cinch. What I'm going to try today is the Easy Turn lubricant, which is supposed to be a really good, it's basically a grease, but it's supposed to be fantastic sealant. The idea behind using a grease like this is that I really don't like scraping gaskets because there's always a chance of damaging the surfaces. So if you use a grease like this, it's going to seal for sure, and also the gasket is just going to peel off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to coat this gasket with this grease. Thin layers enough, of course. Stuff is very thick and sticky. So let's install the gasket. Put a little bit of grease on the other side of the gasket. Okay, now we're going to get the clutch cover on. I already degreased the mating surfaces. I pre-oiled the lifter, the spring, the rod. So now we can go ahead and install. Actually, before I do that, I want to make sure that the gasket is aligned. Okay, everything looks good. So now I'm going to install the screws. These are steel screws that are going to an aluminum body here, so I'm always concerned with corrosion, even though they're coated screws. So I prefer to use some grease. I don't want to use anti-seize because if any of that stuff gets inside the engine, that's never good. So this is Molykote 111. Just a really thick silicone type lubricant. Basically a sealing grease, and I use it a lot. I could have used easy turn as well, but it's a lot more difficult to clean off the threads. Pretty much the only thing that you can use to clean easy turn off is carburetor cleaner. Okay, now we remove our little helpers. Actually, we don't even need screwdriver. But just in case, I did slit the face of it. Okay, we can just run in all the screws with the speed wrench. Okay, now we need to torque them down. The torque spec provided, this is a 6mm screw, but it has an 8mm head. So Honda is saying that these screws should be torqued at 7.2 pound-feet. I'm going to use my pound-inch wrench, so I'm going to multiply 7.2 by 12. That gets us 86.4 pound-inches, but since I lubricated the threads and these screws are going into aluminum, I'm going to back the torque value off 30%, so that gives me 60 pound-inches. So let's take our torque wrench again. I'm going to do this in a couple of passes. So I need 60 pound-inches. I'm going to start with 40. And the final pass is 60. Just gonna go around. Usually there's no need for the second click, but I know I'm not going to over torque this. Some of these moved and some did not. Okay, so at this point what we need to do is connect our clutch cable, fill the oil, and replace the dipstick, and we should be good to go.